It's time once again for That Business Show with Jamie Meloni on 1250 WHNZ WHNZ, where business becomes show business. Now, live in studio and promoting the entrepreneurial spirit that drives the American economy, your host, Jamie Meloni.
Good morning, everybody. Thanks for tuning in yet again to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni, where business becomes show business. Up first, Roger Murphy is a proven business leader who entered business brokering in the early 1990s, only to find it lacking in structure and training programs. With years of deal-making under his belt, Roger taught himself how to broker business deals in other industries. His success caught the attention of other brokers who inquired about his business model, and today he is the president and CEO of Murphy Business. Roger, welcome to the show today.
Well, thank you, Jamie. It's a pleasure to be here this morning.
Absolutely. So first of all, tell the audience about yourself, what a business broker is, and how you got into this business.
Okay. Well, people often ask me what a business broker is, and I like to tell them that, we kind of help people achieve the American dream. If you remember, back a ways, the American dream used to be owning your own home, and I think things have changed a little bit now. And in a lot of cases, the American dream is for people to buy or start a business because they can't find a job or they can't find a good job anymore. So our firm specializes in helping people understand how to either execute the process of entering or exiting a business. We work with people that are looking to buy a business or a franchise, or people that want to sell their business. We're also experts in valuing businesses, and we have certified machinery and equipment appraisers. So most everything we do is related to business transfer.
Now talk to me about how long you've been in the business of business brokering. Give me a little bit of background in your resume.
I started in 1994. I had a home office. I joined a network of brokers and thought that would be the answer to getting me trained and up and running, and I found that it was very lacking in the things that I needed. So I got out in the field and I was fumbling around trying to learn on the job, if you will, and it took me a couple of years to really get it figured out. But so over the years, I got pretty good at it, and I built my own company and added all of the tools and things that are necessary to do a good job to help clients. And we attracted a lot of people that wanted to just plug into our system. And from 94 till about 2006, we ran as a Florida-only company and had about 28 or 29 offices throughout the state of Florida.
Okay.
And 2006, a good friend of mine, a fellow by the name of Tom Miller, convinced me that we had a great system that could become a franchise, and that the franchise business brokerage industry was lacking, especially in the areas of training and tools. So in 2006, we decided to become a national franchise. I should say international, because we're also in Canada. And so we franchised our business, and currently we have around 175 offices throughout the U.S. and Canada, and about we're approaching 300 people helping people buy and sell businesses.
Yeah, I was looking over at your website where people can learn more, also at murphybusiness.com. And, the business brokerage environment, it's kind of, tell me about what the environment is like out there. Is there just a lot of kind of independent brokers that are going around trying to assist people with selling their business? Obviously, there is a lot of, things to know in selling somebody's business. But tell me a little bit about the environment of the other brokers that you're surrounded around.
Yeah, I'm a little bit embarrassed to say that in a lot of cases, the people in our industry aren't as well trained as they should be. There's no formal licensing other than real estate licenses are required in several states, including Florida. Mm-hmm. There's an industry trade association that you can get some training, but there are people that can just throw up a shingle and declare themselves to be a business broker, and that's something that's always bothered me, and it's something that I work very, very hard to offset, and I really think that the way we do it is we have extensive training programs. We we recruit people that are usually going to be C-level executives, CEOs or COOs, or former business owners, and those people are very skilled business people. And then we spend a lot of time really training them, giving them intensive training on how to do deals for other people. So that's really what I see as the biggest weakness in our market is training and education.
Now, talk to me about, the importance of getting, your broker's opinion of value. I mean, when you come in, talk to me, let's say I'm thinking about selling my business. Tell me how you value the company.
Well, that's a great question because most people, first of all, most people are selling a business. It's probably the first time they've ever done it. And most people buying it's the first time they've ever done it. It's not something you do every day. Generally, the sellers of a business usually don't have any idea what the real value is. And I can tell you that the first thing that we have to do when we look at a small business, and the larger the business, the more sophisticated they are, but in a small to medium-sized business, we have to look at the financial information and sort of rebuild it. We call it recasting, if you will.
Okay.
If you think about the way most small businesses operate their accounting systems, they design their systems so that they pay the smallest amount of income taxes. You're not looking to impress your board of directors like a public company would and have the highest level of profits that you can show. You're looking to make a living and not pay a lot of taxes. So included in a financial statement of a small business is generally going to be, you're not going to believe me when I tell you this, but occasionally we'll find where there's unreported income, and but there's oftentimes personal expenses or discretionary expenses that are included in the books of the company.
Mm-hmm.
So our job is to go in there and rebuild that and be able to show what we call seller's discretionary earnings, show the real earnings of that business and a pot of money that would be available if it were to be sold. And that number generally will drive the value of a business. Businesses are usually priced based on what they earn. There are exceptions, and that's the case most of the time. So you have to get to the real earnings number in order to come up with a value.
Okay. Now, where do you list these properties? I know on your website I saw, on your website, Murphy Business, your listings. But is there when you sell properties, you have a multiple listing service? But where do people go to find businesses for sale?
Well, that's interesting. We have our own in-house, what we call BLS system, which is similar to what realtors use. That is not common in our industry. Unlike realtors who love to co-broker with each other, in a lot of areas of the country, business brokers don't do that. They will refuse to share their inventory with other brokers. Now, in Florida, that is not the case. Florida is very much a co-brokering state for businesses. But in addition to our own site where we get a lot of activity, there are about a dozen really good sites where you can go and find businesses for sale. The number one site is a site called Biz Buy Sell.
Biz Buy Sell, okay.
And there's another one called Biz Quest. So there's about a dozen of them. We use pretty much every one that makes any sense at all. If they get leads, we put all of our inventory of listings up on all those sites.
What's the demand out there right now for the buyers of business? Is it a good market right now? Is it a challenging market? What's going on out there in the marketplace in the I guess the Tampa or the Bay Area region specifically?
It's a greatly improving market after coming out of the recession and having virtually no funds available to borrow to buy a business. Things have improved. There's a lot of money out there to be had, a lot of, for example, SBA financing and that type of thing. There are always more buyers than there are good businesses to sell. You'll have businesses on the market that are for sale, but they're not really great businesses to buy. If you have a business and you price it correctly and it's a good company, it will sell. Mm-hmm. And we're always looking for good inventory.
Roger, hang on the line. I got to take a quick break, but coming back from the break, I want to ask you specifically about service businesses, real estate businesses, how you value those, how effectively or can you transfer those businesses or sell those businesses. We're currently talking with Roger Murphy, President and CEO of Murphy Business. Learn more about him and his company at murphybusiness.com. You're currently listening to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni, where business becomes show business.
You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni on 1250 WHNZ WHNZ. Once again, here's your host, Jamie Meloni.
Welcome back, everybody. You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni, where business becomes show business. Again, each and every weekday morning, 8 a.m. here on 1250 WHNZ, a show with a positive message about what's going on in the community with our community leaders, business owners, entrepreneurs, and organizational leaders. And as always, I extend an invite to people within the community that are interested in growing and promoting themselves live here on the airwaves. Please contact me. Best way to get me is through my contact form over at tampabayradio.com. Currently talk with Roger Murphy, President and CEO of Murphy Business. He is a business broker with many years of experience brokering business deals, and you can learn more about him and his company and his listings over at murphybusiness.com. Now, Roger, one of the questions I often wonder about is I am a real estate professional. I'm very profitable in what I do, and 8 years in the business, selling a lot of properties, but I often wonder if there's any real value in my business because I am the business. I mean, for sales professionals such as myself, I mean, is there value in a business such as mine?
Well, that's a tough one. It's not as valuable if you are the business, and we face that all the time. In order to increase the value, you would want to add additional people that were in your business that were doing the same kind of work you are, so that if you were to sell your business and leave, the whole business wouldn't dry up. And I'm sure that in your business, you're the key person that, you attract the clients. So that's not as transferable as you might wish. The value you would have would be in the inventory of listings and things that you have, and most likely if you were to sell that business, you'd be paid out over time as things sell.
Hey, Roger, good morning.
Hold on a second. Yep, I put Charlie's mic on. Roger, my second guest for the show, Charlie, is in studio. He has a question for you. Go ahead, Charlie.
Hey, good morning, Roger. Charlie the plumber from Odessa, Florida. Hey, now in a plumbing business, a small plumbing business such as mine, what would the big selling, I guess, part of that, would it just be my clientele, for example?
Your database of people that you've serviced and things like that. Yeah, go ahead, Roger.
Yeah, well, you would have a lot of goodwill in your business if you've been established for a long time, and if you have a profitable company. I mean, right down to your phone number and all the advertising and marketing that you've done. Some of the things that we would look at would be that would enhance the value is your team of people. Do you have really good people? Do you have someone that has customer contact? Do you have, for example, service agreements, or is everything sold one at a time? If the value of having service contracts is like having an annuity, it increases the value of your company. But construction, service companies, plumbing companies are very much in demand. We currently are selling, it seems like, a lot of HVAC companies, which really have the same characteristics as a plumbing company.
Yeah, I was actually about just to ask you that. What type of businesses are in demand? You just mentioned HVAC. What other businesses come to mind in the Bay Area?
Service businesses are really the best businesses for us to sell. I mean, the number one selling business in the country is restaurants. They turn over a lot, but good service businesses, anything to do with medical is hot. In the franchising sector, we sell a lot of senior care type franchises. Service type businesses are really what's hot.
Now, go ahead and I want to ask you, give business owners out there, if they're thinking of selling, what are some tips to get ready for sale before they contact you? What should they have in line, before they meet with somebody like yourself?
Well, let me just tell you that timing is everything. The best time to sell your business is when you're doing really well and you're on top and your company's increasing and flourishing, and next year looks even better. It's not the best time if you're going down, if business is off. But you need to figure out, working with someone like us, the value of your business and whether or not what you can get for your business is what you need. And if it isn't, then you need to work towards that goal. Key things when you're selling a business is to get your books and records in order. You really need to clean them up, make sure that everything flows through your accounting, make sure that you get rid of all the personal stuff. And I mean, lots of people have a company car that really the business doesn't need, or they pay for certain insurances that they don't need, or country club dues or whatever. And you need to, if you can get rid of as much of that as possible. But another real key thing is something we just talked about, and that's kind of de-emphasizing the owner's role in the business. If, for example, if the owner of the business is the only person that has customer contact or does all the sales, or maybe is very key in purchasing, then it makes it hard for someone else to step in. So, staff up, get a good team, have a good number 2 person. Those are really key things in selling a business.
Now, what's the time frame for getting businesses sold? Does it just depend on the business itself, or from the time that they call you to getting stuff sold? What's the time frame that you look at?
Well, from the time we get it packaged and on the market and have all the materials that we need prepared, if a business is priced correctly, you're looking at somewhere around 7 or 8 months is the average amount of time.
Okay.
If it's, priced aggressively, then you're probably looking at a year.
Now, how is the environment for lending, and do you assist, do you have good contacts within getting loans for people to buy businesses? But what's the environment like out there for, buyers of businesses with regard to lending?
Yeah, it's pretty good right now. It was terrible for a while. We do an awful lot of work with various SBA lenders, and you can get an SBA loan up to $5 million. That's the amount of the loan. People used to think SBA loans were for people that got turned down everywhere, but SBA loans are really a great source of financing. They usually require 20 to 25% down payment, and that can be partially a note from the seller of the business and a down payment from the buyer. They're usually written for at least 10 years. That's a really good source of financing. Another thing that we do quite a bit of and people aren't aware of is using a 401k plan to fund a business. There's a technique, it's a little bit complicated, but there are companies that do this where you buy a business and that becomes part of your personal 401k plan. And so what happens is you don't have a debt service on your business because you don't have to pay it back, and the profits from your business stay inside of your 401k plan, and you're allowed to take a management fee out of that plan. So you can earn money and build your retirement plan and not have to worry about making a debt service, if you will.
We've got about a minute left, Roger, but real quick for the listeners, we talked about your services in business brokering, but what are some of the other services that people can get from you over at murphybusiness.com?
Well, we like to help people that are looking for something, maybe get into a franchise, and oftentimes people aren't looking for a franchise, but they don't, because they don't realize what's out there. But we have some really great inventory of franchise businesses. If anybody is wondering what their business is worth, we can help you out, and it doesn't cost that much. We can do what we call a broker's opinion of value, which doesn't have all of the bells and whistles, but you don't need that. We can give you an idea what a value is. And then we also do,
well, I got to wrap it up. We're hitting the bottom of the hour break, but Roger, great interview, and I appreciate you very much for checking in with me this morning, and we'll direct a lot of the listeners over to murphybusiness.com.
Well, thanks for having me, Jamie. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. And again, that was Roger Murphy, President and CEO of Murphy Business. Learn more about them at murphybusiness.com.